How will the UK cope with the Queen's passing? She will respawn at a randomly appointed location and Charles will never be king. If she passes, or has already, today, we'll be welcoming in a new PM and new monarch in the same week. I'm not sure how that would affect me personally, if at all, but it's certainly going to create a chaotic transition period. Edit. And there we go. Announced almost as soon as I posted this. 625 days from outlasting Louis XIV. Promoter pawn to a new queen. I guess Elton John will have to repurpose another old song. Maybe Crocodile Rock. Charles will be so excited to finally be king he'll kick over from a heart attack. Pub. Whatever they're feeling, eventually they'll probably be rolling in the aisles when Charles dies of old age soon after taking the throne. Won't be anywhere near as long as his mum's 70-plus year reign. That's all there was. That's all I get. Death. Frayed so. The Sandman. I would feel bad for Prince Charles. Guy waited 73 years for his first job. Must be rough. I've only been to the UK twice in my life. But if I had to guess. Drinking. They're going to drink about it. Edit. Looks like it happened. Cheers lads and ladies. Drink up. 90% of us are just wondering if we will get an extra day off work. By following this D-Day in the hours after the Queen's death, a call cascade will take place informing the Prime Minister, the Cabinet Secretary, Britain's highest-ranking civil servant, and a number of the most senior ministers and officials. The PM will be informed by the Queen's private secretary, who will also tell the Privy Council Office, which coordinates government work on behalf of the monarch, internally. The day will be referred to as D-Day. Each following day leading up to the funeral will be referred to as D+1, D+2, and so on. The royal household will issue an official notification delivering the news to the public, a call script for departmental permanent secretaries outlining how to break the news to their ministers. Seen by Politico. Instructs them to say, "We have just been informed of the death of Her Majesty the Queen." Ministers will be told that discretion is required. Ministers and senior civil servants will also receive an email from the Cabinet Secretary, a draft of which reads, "Dear colleagues, it is with sadness that I write to inform you of the death of Her Majesty the Queen." Upon receipt of this email, flags across Whitehall will be lowered to half-mast. The aim is that this can be done within 10 minutes, in an exercise undertaken several years ago. Downing Street raised concerns that this would be impossible as it does not employ a flag officer, and was not certain there will always be somebody present who is able to lower the flag. 1 No. 10 official warned the Prime Minister's team risk public anger if an external contractor has to be called in and the flag can't be lowered quickly. The issue is now believed to have been resolved, according to a government official, in a sign of the times. Many of the immediate plans relate to social media. The royal family's website will change to a black holding page with a short statement confirming the Queen's death. The UK government website, Gov.uk, will display a black banner at the top. All government departmental social media pages will also show a black banner and change their profile pictures to their departmental crest. Non-urgent content must not be published. Retweets are explicitly banned unless cleared by the central government head of communications. The royal family will announce plans for the Queen's funeral, which is expected to be held 10 days following her death. The Prime Minister will be the first member of the government to make a statement. All other members of the government will be instructed not to comment until after the PM has spoken. The Ministry of Defense will arrange for gun salutes to take place at all saluting stations. A national minute's silence will be announced. The Prime Minister will then hold an audience with the new King. And at 6 p.m. King Charles will deliver a broadcast to the nation. At the same time, there will be a service of remembrance at St. Paul's Cathedral in the heart of London. The Prime Minister and a small number of senior ministers will attend. The service is planned to appear spontaneous, according to official documents seen by Politico. D-Day +1 at 10 a.m. on the day after the Queen's death. The Accession Council, which includes senior government figures, meets at St James Palace to proclaim King Charles the new sovereign. Hundreds of Privy Councillors, including the PM and senior ministers, will be asked to attend, with gentlemen expected to don morning dress or lounge suits with black or dark ties. No decorations are to be worn. The proclamation will then be read at St James Palace and the Royal Exchange in the City of London. Confirming Charles as King, Parliament will meet to agree on a message of condolence. All other parliamentary business will be suspended for 10 days. MPs will give tributes in the House of Commons, at 3:30 p.m. The Prime Minister and the Cabinet will hold an audience with the new King. Ministers will be told not to bring their spouses. D-Day +2 The Queen's coffin will return to Buckingham Palace, if the Queen dies at Sandringham, her residence in Norfolk, Eastern England. Her body will be carried by royal train to St Pancras Station in London, where her coffin will be met by the Prime Minister and Cabinet Ministers. If she dies at Balmoral in Scotland, Operation Unicorn will be activated, meaning her body will be carried down to London by royal train if possible. If not, Operation Overstudy will be triggered, meaning the coffin will be transferred by plane. The PM and ministers will attend a reception to welcome the coffin. Proclamations will be read in the devolved administrations. Tributes are likely to continue in Parliament. D-Day +3 in the morning. King Charles will receive the motion of condolence at Westminster Hall. In the afternoon, he will embark on a tour of the United Kingdom, starting with a visit to the Scottish Parliament and a service at St Giles Cathedral in Edinburgh. D-Day +4 King Charles will arrive in Northern Ireland, where he'll receive another motion of condolence at Hillsborough Castle and attend a service at St Anne's Cathedral in Belfast. A rehearsal will take place for Operation Lion. The procession of the coffin from Buckingham Palace to the Palace of Westminster. D-Day +5 The procession from Buckingham Palace to the Palace of Westminster will take place along a ceremonial route through London. There will be a service in Westminster Hall following the coffin's arrival. Continued on my next reply. Quick edit. I posted this not thinking it would be read as it was massive. This is the Operation London Bridge, which has been available in the public domain since 2017, I think. Don't have any knowledge that would be useful, so I can't answer questions, sorry. Rip Your Majesty. New King will fail to consolidate power. Rebellion in the north and rumors of an army of the undead beyond the wall will appear, by making shitty memes about it on Reddit and such. The pound will crash, inflation will skyrocket, wars will escalate with no peace in sight. Oh wait. I can't believe I found out the Queen died through a fucking Reddit post. I can't speak for the entire nation. I can only represent myself in such dark times. But I'll probably have some crisps and a wank. Doesn't a royalty have to be made from her ashes, which has to be consumed by the new ruler within 24 hours to absorb her powers? I think a lot of people underestimate what a big thing this is going to be. If you read the accounts of what is planned, it is enormous in terms of days of national mourning, business being expected to shut, bank holidays, using football stadiums for memorial services etc. TV stations and radio being expected to stick to respectful programming. It'll be the only thing the news covers for days. Then there's the funeral and coronation, which will both be events that the country hasn't seen the like of for decades. Because of how long she's been on the throne, the Queen really is loved by a lot of people. And for many more serves as a sort of unchanging point of stability. I think there will be plenty of people who are genuinely very upset. And many more who aren't upset but still feel a sense of loss. Of course the country will cope. But it's going to be a much more monumental thing than some people appreciate. Also the media will go a bit deranged. Our more conservative papers will be calling for full national shutdown to observe mourning. There'll undoubtedly be celebrities, politicians and members of the public cancelled for being deemed insufficiently sad. When Prince Philip died things got a bit silly. And this is going to be that times a million. WTF did you do? Edit. Really bad timing that I posted this literally an hour before the Queen's death was announced. RIP Queen Elizabeth I. It'll probably be the biggest news ever in the UK and other Commonwealth countries. Other countries. It'd make the news but it wouldn't stop their day. Everyone will stop what they're doing to get to a TV set or radio. Work will be dismissed for the day to allow mourning. When I worked at a media group in the UK, we had a special protocol in case the Queen ever did die. Had a special phone number that was reserved only for this event. Dialing it even by accident would result in heavy repercussions. You'd also need to be aware that this could happen at any time. I worked the graveyard shift, 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. So even if this happened at 3 a.m., you'd need to respond fast, and when I say fast, I mean some of the fastest SLA response times I've ever had to deal with. You'd be given 10 minutes. From the story coming up, to acknowledging it and notifying that special number I mentioned, my manager and the chief editor. If you fail to do all that in 10 minutes, you'd be fined £50,000. That was the average late SLA fee back then. Because they needed to ensure all the newspapers, all the TV news stations and all other media sources online had the feed, so basically, we'd find out everything that's happened newsworthy 10 minutes before the rest of the world. If that makes sense. Sorry to drone on. My NDA expired about a year ago, so I made sure I was okay to post this. I kinda have to laugh after reading all about these strict, formal protocols in communicating her death that I've just had a BBC alert pop up on my phone, notifying me of her death. You bastard, you did it.